How does trauma, an event so powerful and disturbing, shape our memory and identity? This is a question that has intrigued psychologists, neuroscientists, and curious minds alike for decades. Let's start by understanding these three concepts. Trauma is an emotional response to a terrible event like an accident, rape, or natural disaster. Immediately after the event, shock and denial are typical. Longer-term reactions include unpredictable emotions, flashbacks, strained relationships, and even physical symptoms like headaches or nausea. Memory, on the other hand, is the process in which information is encoded, stored, and retrieved. It's the glue that binds our life experiences, the scaffolding that holds together our identity and our understanding of who we are. Identity is essentially our sense of self. It's the sum total of our experiences, memories, values, relationships, and beliefs, all of which shape our perception of ourselves. Now, imagine the interplay between these three. Trauma, a deeply disturbing event, can disrupt the encoding and storage of memories. It can create gaps, distortions, or even produce vivid, intrusive memories that can't be controlled. This, in turn, can impact our sense of identity. We might start to see ourselves as victims, survivors, or even as fundamentally broken. But why is this topic of interest? Well, the effects of trauma on memory and identity aren't just academic. They're deeply personal and incredibly real for many people. Understanding these effects can help us empathize with those who have experienced trauma. Furthermore, it can also guide therapeutic interventions, providing insight into how we can help individuals rebuild their sense of self after traumatic experiences. The effects of trauma on memory and identity are profound and far-reaching, influencing how we perceive ourselves and the world around us. We're just beginning to peel back the layers of this complex relationship in our quest to understand the human mind and its resilience. So, as we delve deeper into this topic, remember that it's not just about the neuroscience or the psychology. It's about the human stories and experiences at the heart of it all. Trauma has a potent influence on our memory, but how exactly does it do that? Let's delve into the complex relationship between trauma and memory. Picture your memory as a vast library, filled with countless books of memories. Each book represents a different type of memory. There are autobiographical memories, the stories of our lives. There are procedural memories, our learned skills and habits. And there are semantic memories, the factual knowledge we possess. Now, imagine trauma as a disruptive force that can cause chaos in this library. When trauma strikes, it doesn't discriminate. It can affect all types of memories, but it has a particular affinity for our autobiographical memories. It's as if trauma targets the very books that narrate our personal stories, often distorting or even erasing parts of them. This distortion or erasure is not a random act of destruction. Instead, our brains may do this as a protective measure, an attempt to shield us from the emotional pain associated with traumatic events. This can result in fragmented memories or even significant gaps in our recollection of traumatic events. But there's a flip side to this coin. Sometimes, instead of forgetting, we might remember traumatic events too well. These memories, known as traumatic memories, can be incredibly vivid and intrusive. They may pop up unexpectedly, triggered by certain sights, sounds, or even smells. This is a hallmark of conditions like post-traumatic stress disorder. Traumatic memories are not just disruptive. They can also have profound implications for our mental health. They can lead to anxiety, depression, and other mental health issues. And this is where the relationship between trauma and memory gets even more complicated. Because while our brains may alter or suppress memories to protect us, this process can also contribute to our distress.
Traumatic memories are not just disruptive. They can also have profound implications for our mental health. They can lead to anxiety, depression, and other mental health issues. And this is where the relationship between trauma and memory gets even more complicated. Because while our brains may alter or suppress memories to protect us, this process can also contribute to our distress. It's a delicate dance, a balance between remembering and forgetting. And it's a dance that illustrates just how deeply trauma can impact our memory and, by extension, our identity. For our memories, whether they're of joyous occasions or traumatic events, are a key part of who we are. Like a powerful storm, trauma can disrupt the landscape of our memory, leaving lasting marks that shape our cognition. A possible outcome of excessive trauma. Can enduring too much trauma lead to memory loss? Let's delve into this further. Trauma can be an unwelcome visitor that overstays its welcome, leaving a lasting impact on the memory. But when we talk about too much trauma, we're referring to a continuous or recurrent exposure to highly distressing events. These could range from ongoing abuse, witnessing violence, or being in a war zone. Now, our brain is a remarkable organ, capable of adapting and changing in response to our experiences. Yet, when exposed to excessive trauma, it can sometimes resort to a survival mechanism known as dissociation, which essentially means disconnecting from the traumatic event to protect oneself. This might manifest as memory loss, or in extreme cases, amnesia. Psychological studies have found that excessive trauma can indeed lead to changes in the brain's structure and function, particularly in areas responsible for memory and learning. For instance, the hippocampus, the part of our brain involved in forming new memories, can shrink under the stress of repeated trauma. This could contribute to difficulties in remembering or even learning new information. Bear in mind, everyone's response to trauma is unique, and not everyone who experiences excessive trauma will develop memory loss. It's a complex relationship, one that researchers are still trying to fully understand. Too much trauma can indeed lead to memory loss, a testament to the profound impact of traumatic experiences on our cognitive functions. How does trauma influence our capacity to learn and form new memories? This question leads us into the heart of our discussion. When we experience trauma, our brain's response is to protect us. It shifts into survival mode, focusing on immediate threats rather than absorbing new information. This heightened state of alertness can interfere with our ability to learn and form new memories. It's as if our brain puts up a no-vacancy sign, diverting resources away from learning to deal with the immediate crisis. Consider, for example, a student who has experienced a traumatic event. They may find it difficult to concentrate in class or remember what they've studied. That's because their brain is still in that survival mode, constantly scanning for danger. The type of memory most affected by trauma is episodic memory, the memory of specific events. Trauma can distort these memories, making them fragmented or inaccessible. It's not that the memories are lost, but rather that they're stored in a way that makes them hard to retrieve. Furthermore, trauma can affect our working memory, the system that actively holds multiple pieces of information in the mind where they can be manipulated. This can make it challenging to carry out complex tasks that require us to hold and process information. Trauma can significantly affect our ability to learn and form new memories, adding another layer to its complex influence on our cognitive functions. So, as we navigate the intricacies of trauma, let's remember its far-reaching impact and strive to cultivate understanding and support. Thanks for watching. If you found this video helpful or informative, please give it a thumbs up and share it with someone who might benefit from this information. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them down below, and I'll do my best to respond to as many as I can. Also, if there are any topics or ideas you'd like to see us cover in future videos, please let us know, and make sure to subscribe to our channel for more engaging and informative content. Thank you again for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.